Ciao everyone, I'm Rossella Rago and welcome back to Cooking with Nonna. I have a very special guest with me here today. You all know her and love her. It is my wonderful, very own Nonna Romana. Say hello to everybody.
Hello everybody.
And tell everybody what we're going to be making today.
Today I want to make pasta fresca. The me fresh pasta.
That's right. We are doing Fresh Pasta 101. This is highly requested because everybody wants to know the nitty-gritty of how you make a fresh pasta dough. And I am going to show you with Nonna step by step. And this will be your fabulous finished product. And this is what we get to eat at the end of all our work. Because making fresh pasta is a labor of love. I want to stress that. But it's so, so worth it. Surpasses flavor, texture, anything you can imagine. Make your own fresh pasta. You will be very happy at the end. So we're going to put this to the side. This will come back at the end. And we're going to start making a fresh pasta dough. And Nonna, what do we use for fresh pasta dough?
Semolina, water. It's all. You gotta mix everything.
Semolina, water, e amore.
Oh, okay. For this one, I do amore for everything.
Nonna's full of love for everything.
I love everything. Special cook, I love her.
And she loves making her fresh pasta, especially her orecchiette. And we're going to be showing you 4 kinds of fresh pastas today. We're going to be showing you cavatelli, orecchiette, which I call cavatelli with like an extra step. We're going to be showing you maccheroni, so you'll actually be able to get a little hole out of the maccheroni in your pasta. And then we're going to be showing you troccoli, which is kind of a squared spaghetti. And very important, I want to stress that this is pasta that will not touch any kind of extruder. We're going to be using our hands, little tools that we have to help us. But, you know, if you have your KitchenAid stand mixer that everybody knows and loves with the electronic extruder through it, or you want to do it with a crank machine with the little Imperia, go right ahead. But I'm going to show you that you don't need any of those things. You actually just need your 2 hands. So to make our fresh pasta dough, like Nonna said, we are just going to be using some semolina and water. Now, I know you might have heard of different pasta doughs being made out of all-purpose flour with eggs in them, with other stuff, but where we're from, especially in Puglia in southeast Italy, pastas, especially short pastas like cavatelli and orecchiette, are made with just semolina and water. So we're going to just start. How do you do this again? I forgot. You put the semolina.
Yeah, put semolina after you gotta put water.
So we're going to start with our semolina. Okay. And we're going to start adding water to it. Now we're going to make a well first. But before I start adding the water, I want to stress one thing. That there is one thing that can impact your fresh pasta dough. And it is the weather and the amount of humidity that's in the air. So if it's a very humid day, you're going to need less water in your pasta dough. If it's a very dry day, you're going to need more water. So there really isn't, it's not exactly possible to provide people with an exact recipe with exact measurements of semolina and water. It's really one of those things that you have to start feeling for yourself. Pasta dough is something that you have to touch and know by the moisture content on your hands when it's ready. So it's something that's going to take a little bit of practice. So don't feel bad if you're not a pasta maker extraordinaire right at the beginning. It will come with time. I'm going to start adding the water. Go?
Yeah.
Yeah? Okay, you tell me when to stop.
Okay, it's enough.
Okay.
You gotta start like that because the other way, you know, the water, they come out.
So she's mixing the water in the little well first with her finger.
Yes.
So it absorbs the water at the bottom and water doesn't come spilling out from every side because that's what'll happen if you try and just like close the well up.
Put a little more.
So we're going to add a little bit more water.
Okay.
And in my experience making pasta dough, when I was first starting out, I had a tendency to make my pasta dough wetter at the beginning just so I could get a nice ball of dough together, and then I would dry it out with more semolina till I reached the desired consistency. I find that that's an easy way when you're first starting out. It doesn't mean it's the right way. It doesn't mean it's what you have to do. Some people, honestly, are very natural at making pasta, but it's like 1% of people that I found. It's like whenever I have a group, it's 1 in 10 that is someone's like a pasta master and has never made pasta before.
You want to finish or no?
Yeah, you want me to finish?
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, you try. Maybe you need more water, you gotta pour it.
Yeah, well, okay.
Well, back to time.
So now I'm gonna start bringing the dough together, and it's gonna look like one big mess before it looks like anything that resembles a dough, like a pasta dough ball.
Okay.
So I'm gonna start with this hand motion, and you just wanna start absorbing any dry semolina into that ball that you've made, that like very mushy ball like this. And your hands are gonna get all dirty. Oh, I should have taken my ring off, but I didn't.
It's okay.
It's okay. It's okay, right?
No worry.
You didn't wear jewelry today? No rings today?
No, never put a ring. I can do nothing, I have some joy around. Really.
Okay, so our dough has come together into a ball, and we are almost there. Not quite there yet because this isn't so smooth. This needs to be worked out. And the way I'm gonna work it a little bit more, because we're almost at fresh pasta dough stage, I'm gonna push with the heels of my hands. And then I'm gonna turn it the other way and push with the heels of my hands. To me, I find that the more that I knead the dough, the better pasta dough I end up with. And this texture that we have, the consistency is perfect. It's nice and humid to the touch, but not too moist. And for the kind of pasta shapes that we're going to be making, Nonna always maintains that you want a little bit of a harder dough, especially for orecchiette and cavatelli, because they'll close up. So I'm just going to give this another couple quick kneads. Okay. What do you think?
Now you gotta cut a little piece. You see?
It's a good.
That's good. You start.
It's a good.
Before you
Okay.
you make it, you gotta walk a little bit. That's all.
Okay. Okay. So this is good, and we are going to let this hang out right here. And if you don't want this to dry out on you, what you can do, we're going to be using this pretty quickly, so we're not going to do it here. But what you can do, if you have a lot of pasta dough and you don't want it to dry out, you take a wet rag and wrap it around your pasta dough and just let it stay there. So the first shape we're going to show you is cavatelli. And to make cavatelli, you first make a little rope, a little snake rope with your pasta dough. And I start by working it in between my hands like that. And then I get it on a board and I start to open it up a little bit and thin it out. And the way I do this is that I place my hands, my fingers together first, and then I open them up. So first your fingers are together and then they open up. Okay, so if that's a little thin, that's okay. We can cut that off and use it as its own little standalone rope. Okay. So the thing I really love about pasta dough is that you honestly can't screw this up. You just add more water if it comes out too dry, more semolina if it comes out too wet, and you're always going to end up with this at some point. The trick is knowing what this feels like. So practice your pasta making skills and you'll know what it feels like. So Nonna just started making cavatelli. She's just like going to work. I'm going to show you guys step by step. So step 1 is to make your rope. Step 2 is to cut out a little piece like this. They could be bigger, smaller. When you're making fresh pasta, they're all going to come out different sizes. Do not try and make them all the same size. Do not try really hard because you'll drive yourself crazy. And you're going to take your blade, hold it away from you. This is a Nonna knife. Recognize these? For sale. So hold your blade away from you. cave your index finger on the edge of the blade, and you're going to place the knife parallel, and you're going to pull it towards you. And that's it. So one more time. Blade away from you, finger on the edge. You're going to pull it towards you. Now, Cavatelli gets its name from the word cava in Italian, which means a little cave. So, Cavatelli have the texture of the serrated edge on the inside. So if we open that up, we have all this wonderful texture. And pasta really is all about the texture, guys. So I think we got our Cavatelli game pretty down. I'm just going to make one more, for the heck of it. And then we're just going to transfer these to our board over here. If you're making them to become dry Cavatelli, you can dry your fresh pasta overnight on a cotton tablecloth. That's what I like to use. Make sure they're not touching each other in the drying process. Or you can use a screen for pasta. They do sell, some places will sell some screens that are special for drying fresh pastas. Just spread them out on a little board like this. I'm going to take these two. And I do start with Cavatelli because I believe it's the easiest, it's one of the easiest fresh pastas to learn how to make. Just going to take these and spread them out a little bit right here. There we go. And now we're going to start making some orecchiette. Now, orecchiette I like to call Cavatelli with an extra step, and I'll show you why. So we start pretty much the same way. We're going to start with some little ropes, or little snakes, ropes.
You start?
Yeah, go ahead. Nonna's going to get right to it, and I'll show you step by step. So orecchiette are a famous pasta from Puglia, and that's the region where we're from, so big ups to Puglia. And in a town called Bari Vecchia, which is the capital of Puglia, there are little old ladies that sit outside their houses and make orecchiette all day. And I actually had a bit of a tango with them this summer. They were like, oh, yeah, you can make fresh pasta. You think you can make fresh pasta? Like, they gave me a knife. It was broken. They were like, hush, you can't make it. So they were a little rough with me, but I didn't let that discourage me. I still know how to make pasta. So orecchiette mean little ears. Some people think they look like little ears, little hats. I've heard it all. And the way you make orecchiette is you take a little piece just like Cavatelli. It's the same positioning as Cavatelli, except an extra step. So again, the serrated edge knife, the blade is away from you. Your index finger is on the tip. We're going to go parallel. We're going to pull towards us. But at the end, I'm going to keep it on the knife, and I am going to flip it over my left thumb. So these are a little bit different than Cavatelli because they're kind of like Cavatelli turned inside out, if you notice. So the serrated edge gives a lot of texture to our fresh pasta, and whereas the Cavatelli is like a little cave, we have to open it up, the texture is all on the outside of orecchiette. And that's what's going to make a tremendous difference in your pasta. So texture is the most important thing about pasta. You'll notice that when you have fresh pasta and you have a sauce on it, there's probably not a lot of sauce at the bottom of the plate, and that's because the texture allows sauce to cling to the pasta better. And the way it goes in kind of a hierarchy in the totem pole of the totem of pasta is that there is fresh pasta, which has the best texture, I think, the best flavor. There is bronze extruded pasta, which is pasta that is usually a semolina pasta, and it is mixed up, and then it goes through a bronze die, a bronze extruder. And then there is plastic extruded pasta. So it goes through a Teflon extruder, and that's your run-of-the-mill pasta that you'll find at the supermarket. It's dry and shiny and smooth. Not to say that it's not good when you're in a pinch, but if you know how to make your own pasta, you should make your own pasta. And I do think that there's something nice about everybody getting together and making pasta together. My nonna and her sisters, or my Aunt Rosa and my nonna get together and make pasta all the time. Right, Nonna?
Yeah. I love orecchiette. This orecchiette berries.
One more orecchietta. Okay, I think we do enough orecchietta.
Okay.
Everybody's got orecchietta down. I know everybody watching is an orecchietta master now. So we're just going to take these, same thing, and spread them out on the board. Again, make sure they don't touch each other if you're drying these overnight. But you can use this fresh pasta immediately, and it will cook super, super fast. So now we're going to move on to shape number 3. And these are called maccheroni ai ferri. Now, maccheroni ai ferri means macaroni alla steel skewer or whatever. So this pasta shape starts the same way as cavatelli and orecchiette with our little rope. And we're going to put it around a little skewer instead of like a metal rod. If you have a metal rod, which is what they would use back in the day, that's totally fine. But I find that these are really accessible, they're easy to use, and the pasta will actually slide off better. We're gonna start with the same little piece, and we're going to roll it around our bamboo skewer, and it's going to come out like pasta with a hole in the middle. So I love this pasta. This is actually my favorite pasta to make with kids because I think it's really easy for them, and they love just doing this. Right? How cool? How cool is this? So Nonna's gonna go fast, with her lightning speed, and I'm gonna show you step by step. So we have our little rope, like before, our little rope of pasta, and we're gonna take a piece about that big. Again, they're probably all gonna be different sizes by the time you're done. Gonna start it on the skewer like that. And just try and close it up a little bit and just roll, 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 roll. And slides right off. I'm going to cut out a bunch of little pieces. How easy is this?
It's very easy.
Very, very easy. And this pasta is traditionally eaten with orecchiette. So they would have a plate of orecchiette and maccheroni ai ferri, like this together. And usually with little meatballs, just like that plate of pasta that's still hanging around our set from earlier. And they would call that dish of orecchiette and maccheroni together maritati. Now, maritati means a married couple. And they called it this because they said that the orecchiette represented female anatomy and the maccheroni represented male anatomy, so together they were a married couple. So I love how easy it is with a bamboo skewer. It just slides right off. So our maccheroni ai ferri are all done, and I think that was so super easy. You guys have to do this. So now I'm going to show you how to make our long pasta, for those of you who are interested. Okay, Nonna, basta.
All right.
Nonna's got to make one more. She's got one more left in her. Okay. Thank you. No, no more, no more. Now we got to do troccoli.
Okay.
Now, to make troccoli, I'm going to need a flat sheet of pasta dough. So the way you can do this is if you have one of those Imperia crank machines, that's perfect. If you want to do it the way Nonna had to do it, it's almost 70 years ago when she started doing this, you're going to use a rolling pin like this one. So have no fear. It's going to be really easy. It's going to be fabulous. I'm going to try and mold my dough into a little bit of a long shape right from the get-go because we don't want a big round sheet of pasta dough. We want kind of a long sheet of pasta dough. So I'm just going to kind of make it a little bit like a tube. I'm going to flatten it out with my hand as much as I can first. I'm going to put a little bit of flour on the board, a little bit on here, a little bit on my rolling pin because we don't want anything to stick. And I'm going to start. Now, you want this to be nice and thin, about, if I had to guess, maybe 1/8 of an inch. Because if your sheet of pasta is too thick, the cutter will not cut it all the way through. And that's a disaster. All right. So I have a nice, beautiful, thin sheet of pasta dough. And to cut this, I'm going to show you our troccolatori, our troccolators. So we have two options here. One is the good old standby. This is a wooden troccolatore, obviously. These are very readily available. They're very, very inexpensive. I think in Italy they're like 3 for 10 euros. And you can find them at a lot of specialty stores, Italian specialty stores. They will probably have one of these. So the way it works is kind of like a rolling pin, but that cuts shapes of your troccoli out. And then if you want to get a little bit fancier, if you want to be fancy, we have a brass troccolatore. This was ordered by my dad, the Vito, all the way from Italy for the whopping price of 40 euros because he just had to have it. So this is why I have a brass troccolatore in my possession because of my dad, Vito. But this is probably a better product, honestly. It's definitely sharper, more heavy duty. The wooden ones can chip on you if you're not careful. So this was definitely built to last. And I'm going to use this one to ensure that we get beautiful, perfect troccoli. So first, I'm going to sprinkle some semolina on our pasta sheet, and then I'm going to flip it over and sprinkle some semolina right on here. And then I'm just going to go for it. I'm going to roll this across our pasta sheet very, very hard because you want to make sure that you cut that pasta on your first shot, because if you got to go back over it, you might cut like another line that you didn't originally mean to cut, and then they're all messed up, and then they're not troccoli anymore. They're like 15 coli or whatever, and they're not cute. So I'm going to start over here, and I am going to push with all my might.
Okay.
Pushing as hard as you can. Really put your back into it.
Tiriamola giù adesso.
Okay, so we're going to try and pull without moving it.
Okay.
Okay.
Oof. You got it.
So now these, you're just going to separate them.
Mm-hmm.
This is the fun part. You just want to separate all of these.
Very good.
And you see they come out kind of like a squared spaghetti. Take off any of the ones that are like too short. Okay, nonna. Separately. Yeah. So we're just going to separate these. And whenever you have a long pasta like this, you want to make sure you have some extra semolina, just all up in there to prevent sticking. And I wish there was an easier way to do this in one by one, but it's kind of fun. Just peel them away. Okay, so we have our beautiful little pile of troccoli right here. And aren't these awesome? I love them. These are going to be so delicious. And I'm just going to put it right front and center. I'm going to make a little space here. And then let's just look at all the pasta that we
Very
made today.
nice.
All this fresh pasta, just semolina and water, little handiwork, and of course, love, amore. And then at the end of it, you get a beautiful plate of maritati. How beautiful does this look? We added a little sauce and just a couple of little meatballs, just for flavor, because we got to eat too. We worked really hard. And now we're going to taste it.
Sure.
You want?
Yeah, I can't wait.
Okay. I'm going to make sure I get one and one. I'm going to get maccheroni and orecchiette.
Very good.
So good. You can really taste the difference in the texture and the flavor, and the pasta's cooked perfectly. Whoever made this pasta is very good at what they do. So, Nonna is still eating.
Yeah,
You always say you don't want too much, and then you eat everything.
Yeah, anytime I do that. When I see the appetite, they come.
Okay. Well, that's how I think we've all been there before. So I hope you guys enjoyed our little Fresh Pasta 101 video. Me and Nonna really enjoyed teaching it to you. And thank you for being my Nonna today and every day.
Welcome, my beautiful.
Mwah.
I love you, my baby.
Okay, so now we go bye-bye and we finish this.
Well, depends. You want, finish.
I won.
Everybody, they want fast, I think so.
Okay, so guys, go home and make some fresh pasta today. Ciao.
Bye-bye. Buon appetito.